This podcast is brought to you by the Prospect Research Institute, a vibrant online learning community providing high-quality educational content, the opportunity to connect with peers, and an outlet for new ideas in the field of nonprofit fundraising research.
I just come home each day and I feel like I know I've made a difference.
Welcome to Prospect Research Chat Bites, a podcast by and for Prospect Research professionals. I'm Jennifer Filla. Today, I'm talking with Sarah Dale, Donor Relations and Grants Coordinator at the Humane Society of Tampa Bay.
Hello, Sarah. Thank you for joining me today on Chat Bites.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, I've really been looking forward to this conversation with you because even though you were one of the first students to take the Essentials for Successful Fundraising Research course when it debuted this year, and even though your work at the Humane Society of Tampa Bay was the inspiration for the course, I'm realizing I don't really know much about your nonprofit career. So I'm wondering, to start us off, if you'd be willing to share a little bit about what you do at the Humane Society and how you got there.
Absolutely. So my role is Donor Relations and Grants Coordinator, but as many nonprofits, it's typical I wear many hats. So the majority of my job is encompassed by database management, or we use Donor Perfect, so entering all of the donations, pulling reports from that, anything with the database. I'm also our grant writer, and a newer task, obviously, that I've been granted is research for prospects. I oversee our monthly pet partner program and our direct mail program, and I lead all event registration for our major fundraising events. And then I also am assisting my boss with our capital campaign. I have been there almost 3 years, and before that, I volunteered for the Humane Society for about 3 or 4 years, and I just really enjoy the mission of the organization. I'm a huge animal lover, and what the Humane Society of Tampa Bay does for the community always inspired me. And so it was actually always a dream of mine to work there. I just never thought it was going to play out in my cards. Prior to that, I did work at Busch Gardens for 8 years in various roles, including marketing and guest relations. And when this position opened up, one of the girls who worked at the Humane Society told me about it, and I just went in on a whim for an interview, and I was hired on the spot, and I've just been so satisfied with working there for the past 3 years.
Wow. Yeah, Busch Gardens has the most amazing zoo, essentially.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So it was really nice to go from the corporate to more of the nonprofit. There's just so much more impactfulness in your work, and you just really, I just come home each day and I feel like I know I've made a difference, and I don't wake up dreading going to work. So it's really nice to be in the nonprofit industry.
And given the laundry list of tasks that you're responsible for, it certainly is an intimate setting. So you see the results of your work happen.
Absolutely. And we're one big family, and, when there's a big event, we're all working late together and we're all seeing our results, and we're all, satisfied when we meet our goals. So it's really nice to be a right in and hands-on experience with it.
So what do you think is the most favorite thing that you do in your current position?
I really enjoy grant writing. I feel like I get to tell our story and kind of brag about what we do, which is nice. And I also find it's just so exciting when I do get a grant. Because that's not something that, I can write the grant as well as I can, but in the end, it's ultimately not something that I decide on. So it's really a testament of our organization when we receive a grant. So I like the writing the grant, and then I also like when we obtain them, of course.
Getting the yes is exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
So you took the Essentials for Successful Fundraising Research course, and I'm curious, what was your experience with that, and what kind of impact has it had on your work?
Yeah, so before taking any of your classes, I did not know anything about prospect research, and I really feel that anyone on our staff knew a whole lot about it either. We did have donor search, so we were kind of playing around with that, but really what we were looking for, we were just kind of seeing what it produced for us, not really analyzing the results, though. So the Essentials for Successful Fundraising Research course has really helped me to analyze those results and make sure that my boss has the best list, whether it's for event invites or for major gift campaigns or capital campaigns. And it's really helped her to have, more of a narrowed down list. Instead of just pulling, who donated this amount in the last year, I can actually have some more quantifiable results for her to use and have hopefully a better success rate when she does go for the ask.
So it's interesting that you mention, not just major gifts, not just filling a prospect list for her, but also the invite lists.
Yep.
That's applying it more broadly than we often see in, say, a large fundraising operation where it's really kind of siloed in major gifts. Are there any other ways in which you've been able to apply your new skills to other parts of fundraising?
Definitely with the event registration. I would say too, sometimes whether defining our direct mail cutoff, so who obtains direct mail, who gets more of we have some direct mail that's more geared towards what we call major donors, and just kind of defining the messaging of those pieces that those donors who are on direct mail are receiving.
That's great. So as you're looking towards the future, what does your career trajectory look like for you? What are your thoughts about where you might want to go, and what kinds of training might help you get there?
Yeah, I really do enjoy my job at the Humane Society, so I have no intentions of leaving. I want to grow within the organization, so I do really like the development field. So it would be something that I would want to grow more as a manager within the development world. Some training that would probably benefit me is any of the research training is always helpful because it's something that, no one at our organization is familiar with. So it's a skill that I'm learning, that helps me stand out a little bit more too from some of the others. It's great. Also, I don't have a ton of opportunities to constantly interact with donors. I do some more the mid-level, the ones that call to make donations, and then at event registration, I obviously interact with all of the donors. But as far as the one-on-one meetings, I don't really have the opportunities for those in my current role, and that is something that I want to have more experience doing, and just having more of those interacting and cultivation aspect.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I think I've been hearing it more and more in the past just few years where the prospect research person, that professional role attends on occasion some of those visits with the major gift officer that they work with. And then the discussion that I hear is all around well, how do you introduce yourself if you're prospect research? But most wealthy philanthropists are aware of the role and the importance of the role, so it's not a shocker.
Well, it makes sense to have someone there with, the knowledge that the development officer may not always remember. You can print out one sheet, but obviously you don't want them looking at that or anything, and just be able to maybe have someone there that can remember a few more things the donor says that you can add into the database and notate.
And that analytical approach, where
yes.
We don't want to pursue people who are not interested, or we don't want to ask for a gift that's not a good fit in other ways in terms of wealth for that individual.
Exactly, yes. So that is something that I'm working to try and get my boss to help me, to mentor me through.
Yes, great. Wow. So before I let you go, I'm wondering if you have any tips for others who want to take online courses, because you're so self-motivated. I'm curious, how did you make sure you got through the materials? What kind of stumbling blocks did you avoid or fall over?
Yes. So, something that really helped me, and I know not everyone's going to have this option, but I asked to work from home one day a week so that I could have the time to focus without any interruptions, without, the work phone ringing or anything, to really focus on this class because, it was not necessarily only a monetary investment, but more so a time investment that the Humane Society is letting me do. But, I want to be able to get everything out of it that I can. And I knew that it was going to be an issue, and I'm not everyone's going to have that luxury, but maybe even just speaking with their superiors about, maybe I can just go into the conference room and lock myself in there for a couple hours each week. It's just really making sure you have the time and a good setting where you're not going to get interrupted so that you can really obtain the most knowledge possible from the course. That really helped me. as far as motivating and staying motivated on it, you just have to set the time. So if you just block out time on your calendar, like it's just another appointment with someone, that's how you need to treat it, because it is really valuable. But if you're not doing it and you're not investing the time, you're not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah, I guess sometimes we get lost in the Facebook, social media, short attention span world. And
right.
when you're learning, it requires attention.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it requires plenty of attention and really, no interruptions. And I know that's not always possible, but limit the interruptions at least.
Well, that's great advice. And thank you so much for taking the time to share with me today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
That was Sarah Dale, Donor Relations and Grants Coordinator at the Humane Society of Tampa Bay. As you heard from Sarah, working in a small fundraising office requires a wide variety of skills and the ability to apply those skills across the development program. As one of the first students to take the Essentials for Successful Fundraising Research course, Sarah learned how to use research wherever it was needed. Learn more about this course, which is part of the Research Fundraisers membership level, and about all of our membership opportunities at www.prospectresearchinstitute.org.